The NLP, New Behaviour Generator technique, is identify the behaviour you'd like to change, or alternatively, the process or the technique you'd like to improve or develop. That's the first thing you do. Then having done that, you become a script of your own film. So step one, what you do is describe the behaviour that you want. So once you know what you want to change, you then describe, you become a script of your own film, director of your own film, what you want to do. Or for example, technique. You might, when I do with my athletes, my world-class athletes, sometimes I do technical stuff, like say in football, we watch at Temple of Excellence, someone performing excellence, taking a penalty or free kick, and we break it down, the technique, say, arms out for balance, foot alongside the ball, focus on the ball. Or I also use it for people preparing for interviews, rehearsing questions. I use it for people preparing for presentations. I use it for a number of things, and also behavioural change. So there's someone who's doing one thing and they want to replace it with something else. So it could be they come home from work and they eat chocolate cake, and in adverse to doing that, they eat an apple, or they go for a walk, or they might bite their nails, and you look at maybe a replacement for that. We can use it for that as well. There are obviously a number of techniques to be able to change. This is one that we can utilise, which is quite useful. But this, for me, is great across a broad range of areas. So once you've identified what you want to change, what you want to develop and improve, then describe what you want to do. That's step one. So step one, after you've identified what you want to change, what you want to rehearse, so you want to rehearse that presentation, the interview, that sporting event, you're going to change that behaviour from smoking to going for a walk, then describe what you want to do. Describe what you want to do. So, as I mentioned before, if I'm describing a technique in football, it might be arms out for balance, foot alongside the ball. If I'm describing someone eating a cake to an apple, so I see myself walking home, I feel happy and positive, and I have an apple, I go for a walk. So you become a script of your own film, and there's no end to how much you can use as a script. So remember, the first step is describing the behaviour. And take time to describe behaviour. Remember to use positive. When you describe a behaviour, describe it in the positive. The reason being in the positive is because the mind can't process negative instructions. So if I say don't think of a blue giraffe, what do you think of? Exactly. So describe it, and also use the I am, which is quite powerful. The power of I am. Really powerful stuff. So I am doing this. I am delivering a fantastic presentation. I see the audience. I'm answering questions. I am in the interview. I'm calm, I'm composed, I'm focused. The power of I am, the intent, that belief. That's the first key step. The second key step is to then have it screened. So imagine seeing yourself on the screen, like you've got the screen there, and you can see yourself like watching a TV screen. At this point here, you can close your eyes. So once you've got a general script in your mind, what you want to do, now see yourself on a screen. And perhaps you'd like to close your eyes. It's your call. Sometimes what I do when we're modeling excellence, I get people to watch people who are excellent interviews, excellent presentations, excellent, say, sports, and they can watch that and they can close their eyes, internalize that, and see themselves stepping into that person. They're obviously themselves, but they can model that behaviour, that technique. So once you've got a rough idea, a general overview, there's going to be fine detail. You can improve as you go along. So see yourself doing the behaviour. So the second step, see yourself doing the behaviour on the screen. If you struggle to visualise, then start with the basics. And you can start with, because people say to me, well, Jim, I can't visualise. Well, we can all visualise, we wouldn't know how our friends would look like. So you can start visualising the colour of your front door, the colour of your car. You can visualise an apple, an orange, and then you can improve your visualisation skills going forward. So at this point, the second step, see yourself doing the behaviour on the screen, and see what you're doing, define the details, any sounds, any feelings, any smells, any taste. Fine-tune it. Fine-tune the behaviour that you scripted in first instance, and see yourself doing that. So you can see yourself answering questions in an interview, you can see yourself delivering that presentation, you can hear what you're saying, any feelings, any smells and taste. Or for sport, you can see yourself doing that technique, the penalty, you can see yourself taking that free kick, that tennis serve, that golf. So that's the second step. The third step in the process is to step in the film. in the here and now. You step in there and imagine now going in the film itself and rehearsing it like the here and now. So, okay, if you're doing sport, you can rehearse the technique, the tennis serve, the golf putt, you doing football, taking that free kick, that penalty. The interview, you can sit there in the now and just breathe naturally, normally, and rehearse the questions. And you can even externalize the questions if you want to. So you can even have an empty chair where you can put, or empty chairs where you can put people in various positions if you do an interview. This is what I do sometimes in interview situations, where I put 2 or 3 chairs and we define who's going to do the interviewing, and then we script as many questions as we can, and we can rehearse answering the questions, how you met that criteria, tell story, tell metaphor, and you can even rehearse delivering a presentation. You can put a number of chairs out there and you can rehearse answering questions. So you can do that in the now when you've got it how you want it. Or you can rehearse coming home and picking up that apple instead of that chocolate cake, or you can rehearse instead of biting those nails, you can rehearse listening to some music or going for a walk. So you can rehearse, that's the third step for me. The fourth step is the future pace, and all that is really is to see yourself doing it in the future in 3 or 4 different occasions, and that's really building the neural pathways in the brain, because the brain can't differentiate between a real experience and not a real experience. It's a bit like when you watch a scary film, you know it's not real, you still feel scared when you watch it. The brain doesn't differentiate that, so you can future pace and rehearse it in the future. So you can rehearse the interview or interviews, you can rehearse the presentations, 3 or 4 of them, you can rehearse the sporting event, you can rehearse coming home and having that apple instead of the chocolate cake, you can rehearse going for a walk instead of biting those nails, so you can rehearse doing one thing rather than the other. So the key steps, the first key step, remember just to reiterate, the first key step is to identify the behaviour you want to change or the process or technique you want to develop. Then you write that script. So you write the script, you become a director of your own film. Once you've done that, the second step is see yourself doing it on TV. So you can see yourself. And the people of the NLP world, you'll know visual constructs. You can look at the top right for a normal right-handed person, or top left for some left-handed people to construct the film. For those who don't know a lot about NLP, you can email them, you can send it to them if you want to, but you don't need to know anything about NLP, really, this technique. You can go through the steps. For me, what you can do, if you struggle to visualize the second step, start by visualizing basic things. If you're very kinesthetic, it might be that you start visualizing your front door, an apple, your friend's face, and you can develop that as you go along. You can develop the skills, but also remember when you're doing this too, to associate to other sensory experiences like feel and hear yourself speaking and what the people are saying, and smell and taste, which is quite powerful too. And that's the second step. The first step, step inside and do it in the here and now, live it, and you can fine tune it there. The fourth step is the future pace, see yourself in future scenarios to embed the learning. A little bit like when you go to a new destination and you're driving there. Even you can drive really, really well, you know how to drive really well. If you go somewhere new you've not been before, even with a sat nav, it can be a little bit disorientating, but having gone there once, it becomes easy. Then you go twice, then it becomes an unconscious competence. You get in the car, you never realise you've got there. So the key steps is to describe the behaviour you want in positive tense, what you want to do, I am. The second step is see yourself doing on the screen and use your sensory experiences to do that, and you can fine tune that. The first step is step inside and do it here and now, and the fourth step is the future pace. So I'm sure you enjoyed and got out of today's technique. Feel free to email me, leave some comments, feedback, whatever. If you want some more resources, email me. Today's springboard tutorial. Have a fantastic day and live with passion. Boom!